Eddie Brock doesn't set off Spider-Man's spider sense and he can rid him of his powers? Hey, it's your host, NightWolf from Comic Converse, along here with Erimus Prime.
Hey, what's up?
So, this is the show where we talk all about comic book characters and their interactions. We're from Nerdy Geek Talk, the source from all of your nerdy geeky needs. And so, today, we're talking about the beast himself, Anti-Venom. And if you didn't know, he's a good guy, and he's also Eddie Brock. So we're gonna start out with an origin of him. Um, so he is Eddie Brock. After Eddie Brock loses the Venom symbiote and he gets rid of him, Eddie Brock still can't forgive himself for what he's done. And like every time he looks in the mirror, he still sees Venom's face. Um, and his cancer's getting worse, but he's still a really nice guy. Like he works at his soup kitchen with Peter's Aunt May, and he's just a really nice guy. And unknowingly, he gets touched by Mr. Negative, and all the like little venom particles left in his body turn into anti-venom particles, which are like white. And the next venom, which is like Venom Scorpion, um, thinks he found Peter Parker, but instead he finds Eddie Brock at the soup kitchen. And when he touches Eddie Brock's skin like um, bubbles with like and foams with like white stuff, and then the white symbiote emerges and like engulfs him, and he becomes anti-venom. And he does a lot of stuff after that. But like he can like cure someone of the venom virus, and he tries to do this to Spider-Man because Spider-Man, after having it like briefly sometimes, still has some of the venom particles inside of his body, and Anti-Venom tries to cure him, and he does get rid of the remaining venom particles, but he also starts to weaken his Peter's powers, and from then on, like whenever Anti Venom is around Peter, his um his powers always weaken, and he's like he can't do as much, like his strength decreases, and his powers are not nearly as good as they normally are. Um, so first, we're gonna start off discussing the figure. We did do a review of Anti Venom, the Marvel Legends Infinite series figure, and that link will be in the description. Also, I forgot. We are starting a special series on Comic Converse, the Symbiote series. So for the next few episodes, we're going to be talking about all the different symbiotes. We might not cover quite all of them. Um, obviously, we're not going to do all the different venoms like in different episodes because that's way too many. That'll probably be like a special extra long episode of Comic Converse because we can discuss each venom, and there is a lot. But trust me, there is probably more symbiotes than you thought, and we're gonna try and cover most, if not all of them. So back to the figure. The figure's really nice. They made another figure of him. I forget what series it was.
Marvel Select.
Marvel Select, yeah. Um, and that was a really nice figure. It didn't have nearly as good articulation, um, but I mean, it was still a good figure. Um, a lot of people like that better, but I honestly like the newer Anti Venom figure better. I think it looks better overall, and so um, I got a figure obviously and reviewed it, and I really liked it, and so then Aramis Prime also got a figure.
And it has two right feet.
Yep, and that's not an expression. His figure literally has two right feet.
It was assembled wrong in the factory. As soon as I opened it, I noticed that, hey, this foot is weird. And then I was like, oh, it's not weird, it's just on the wrong foot. So I thought they were swapped at first, and no, I just have two right feet on my Anti-Venom. He has no left feet. So yeah, guess he's a good dancer. He doesn't have two left feet, he has two right feet.
Yeah. So those those figures are both really nice. Me and Erimus Prime both prefer the newer one. It's more of a plain white. The Marvel Select figure is more of like a more symbiote, spiky looking, and like off white kinda.
I think the Marvel Select might capture how he looks in some cases. In some of the comic panels, I'd say it's probably more accurate. In the Spider-Man video games that he's in, like they're more accurate to that. But again, NightWolf said, the articulation just isn't there for me, and that's something I always like. That's something I need in my figures is articulation. So
hmm And that leads me to our next subject, which is Anti-Venom in Spider-Man Edge of Time. Now, I do not have this game, nor have I played it, but I have watched several clips of it. I am working on getting it. I really want to get it. It looks like a great game. I might even write a review on Nerdy Geek Talk, the website nerdygeektalk.wordpress.com, or I might do a video review. We'll see. It looks like a really nice game, but anyway, the Anti-Venom, the Marvel Select Anti-Venom looks a lot more like Anti-Venom in the Spider-Man Edge of Time video game. Now, in Edge of Time, I'm not positive, but I don't know like the whole main plot really. Um, but in Anti-Venom's role, he is like fighting Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2099 some I think too. And he I think he's being controlled by mind chips because Anti-Venom is like always a good guy in the comics and in like everything. And but in the video game, he's fighting them. But I think it's Norman Osborn. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's him. And he's controlling him. And at one point, he like Eddie Brock is like really resisting, like he really doesn't want to do it. But Norman Osborn like cranks all the chips up, and he becomes huge and bulky, and can't control himself, and he's becoming like a savage, like a huge beast, like a symbiote, like in its own state when it like just thinks of murder and like violence and stuff like that. And so he goes berserk on Spider-Man. And like I'm not gonna give any else away, but I have watched some videos of that. If I got any of that wrong, which I probably did, let me know in the comments. But Anti-Venom's a really cool character. I like him. Of course, he's not really applicable in every like series. Like Spider-Man, you can bring into like any storyline because he's just an all-around character. Anti-Venom, he does stand for justice, I guess, but he's main like there have been situations where he fights for good and not just to get rid of the venom, not just to get rid of the venom virus, but normally he's just kind of like a one-trick pony and he just tries to get rid of the venom virus. He's a really cool character. I like the look of him. He looks totally awesome.
also you can't have like he said with Spider-Man. Spider-Man you can bring into any story. You can't have Anti-Venom in a story unless Venom's there, and specifically Venom leaves Eddie Brock. So it's very specific. There are very specific circumstances in a story that need to happen for Anti-Venom to be able to be introduced. So that's why he's not in as much canon because there's just not many opportunities to bring him in.
Which of course now Marvel is kind of focusing on one sole timeline that Anti Venom kind of was in, but I'm not totally sure where that series went. I haven't read a lot of the Anti Venom, but I want to. I'm planning on trying to find some of his comics and reading those because he seems like a really cool character there's some really cool art that could be done with that. He's just a really nice character overall, and I really like the look of him. Like I said, um, and he's just really cool. There's so much stuff you can do with him, especially because he is a symbiote and he can kind of like almost shapeshift. Um, I like what they did with like bringing Eddie Brock back into the continuity, especially as a hero, because Eddie Brock isn't a terrible guy like as a regular person. I mean, like he gets angry, he gets mad like a normal person, but he doesn't go crazy or anything like really like in his human state. Now when he gets the venom virus and all crap happens to him, of course, Venom controls him, and lots of stuff happens. So that is episode 2 of Comic Converse. Thanks for listening. You can check our main website out at nerdygeektalk.wordpress.com. You can check out my website for exclusively Marvel Cinematic Universe news and theories at marveltheory.wordpress.com. And you can check Erimus Prime's website out at
tftalk.wordpress.com for exclusively Transformers news.
yep. So thanks for watching. Um, just some latest news for the Nerdy Geek Talk channel. I have the Ant-Man figure. I'm working on getting a review out to you guys. Um, Spider-Man 2099 review I'm working on getting out too. Also,
I just picked up today Scarlet Spider and Superior Venom, so we'll be reviewing those too.
I might be reviewing them. Aramis Prime might be reviewing them. Might review them together. We'll see. Also, Cyber Talk episode 4 should be on its way very soon, so make sure you keep out on a lookout for that. So, thanks for listening. All links to websites and the Anti-Venom figure review in the description. Bye.